We're back at it, everybody. It's the first week in June 4th, and I'm just going to take you along with me today, kind of vlog style, and show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and check on all my trees that I planted last spring, and I'm going to do a little maintenance to each one of them. I'm going to take and make sure all the foliage around them is cut down and weed whacked in some cases. I've got my chainsaw and weed whacker with me. And check on the trees. We got sawtooth oaks, chestnuts, and then we got swamp oaks that we're going to be checking on. But all this stuff around the edges we're going to chainsaw out of here, and I'm going to cut these sumac trees out of here. And just I want to make sure that we get some light onto this tree here. I don't care about any of these other ones right here at all. They're just garbage, frankly. Boy, look at the size of this mushroom. That thing is no joke. Holy smokes. Look at that bad boy. That's an impressive shroom right there. Well, and just like that, we've got this opened up a lot more in here. Definitely get more sunlight on this sawtooth oak tree. That cherry tree right here is trash. That should go too. That thing is pretty much dead. But I'm gonna clean all this stuff up and throw it into the swamp. And this should really take off. This tree's doing good. You can see the leaves right in there. Not sure how good you can actually see them in there. It's doing good. As you guys can see, we got this all cleared out really nice. Now we're definitely gonna get more sun on it, and there's gonna be no competition around this sawtooth oak, so it really should take. I girdled this half-dead cherry tree right here, so that thing's gonna die and pretty much start falling to the ground here. So later on, I'll probably come around with a little bit of glyphosate and just spray right around the base here. And this thing will be ready to rock and roll. Got another sawtooth oak right here that we're going to do a bunch of trimming around. We're going to cut all these trees right here next to it and open this up nice for this tree to really thrive. You can see it's growing in there. There's some new growth happening. Go ahead and cut these down and open it up here. This tree right here is by far the best performing tree in a year out of any of the ones that I planted. This is swamp white oak right here, and it is growing like crazy. Already coming out of the tube. Of course, when I planted it, it was a twig about that high last year, so it gets a lot of sunlight right here, and the soil is obviously extremely good. I bet you it'll be producing here in just a few years with this much growth. Pretty awesome. Right here on the point of the swamp, we've got 4 chestnut trees planted, and these are tubes that the bears keep knocking over, so I have to keep setting them back up. This one, this tree's really doing pretty darn good. I don't know how good you can see it in there, but it's really leafing out good and coming along. Got one over here. This one's got good sunlight. Yep, this one's doing really good as well. This one doesn't have nearly as good sunlight because of this pine tree here, but yeah, this one might be toast. I'm not sure. It's not looking too hot. There's no new leaves on it at all. Might be too in the shade. This one's doing really good. That one's growing real good. Look at all the leaves coming off that one. That one needs a little more support. My chainsaw chain came off, so I figured it's a good time to come home and get some high energy lunch. And I'll show you my secret recipe here. It's got all the best ingredients. One being, of course, coffee. Coffee is essential for pretty much everything. Ice cream, which is, of course, probably my second favorite thing. And chocolate, which is my third favorite thing. And when you're hot, what do you like a lot? Something cold, ice. So we're gonna throw ice in there. And I also like a little milk, so I mean, how can you go wrong with ingredients like that? I'll show you what we got going on here. It's always funny, they have this max fill line on here and it's complete bogus. I always fill it right to the top. Let's go ahead and mix this up. Just like that, you got an awesome high energy lunch right there. I'll show you some of my chestnut trees that I planted last summer, and these ones look like they were gonna die, and now they're really came springing back to life. Probably see it from the side even better. But they're all doing good. I got 4 of them planted right here along the road. And just went through and weed whacked all the grass growing around them to keep them from having any competition. Here's another sawtooth oak that I just took and cleared all the brush out around it with the weed whacker. This one is right up to about here. You can see the twig from last year made it all the way up to here, but that's kind of hasn't let any leaves out on it yet. The leaves are all kind of toward the bottom there, but I'm sure it'll take right off here. So we just got a ton of this stuff cleaned up right here. This was all overgrown. There's a bunch of sumac trees growing in here. I just went through with a chainsaw and cut them all down and opened this right up for this oak tree to grow right here. This is a white oak. It's growing really well. it's certainly doing pretty good. So we just opened this all up, and it's going to get sun all day long for the most part. There used to be 2 monster maple trees right here that my uncle cut down about 10 years ago now. Well, probably even longer than that. I bet you it's been 15 years ago by now. And the problem with this spot right here is we've been dumping rocks here for years off this field. So there was piles of rocks, and you know, the year that we cut down these trees, we'd come in here with a bucket tractor, and we actually pushed a lot of the rocks back and got a lot of them cleaned up. But really only good use for this corner of this field would be to plant some good trees, and that's what we did. So we got a trail camera set up right there on a hanging vine. I decided not to cut this tree down. I cut the lower limbs off, and it seems like it'd just be a good tree for bucks to rub on when they come around the corner here. But this tree should shoot right up out of this tube this summer. We'll keep you updated on it and how it's doing. There's our little killdeer eggs. That mom has been a pretty good mom so far. Been impressed. We got all the trees weed whacked and everything, the foliage cleaned up around them. There's a lot of work. There's about 30 different trees that I'm taking care of, and you know, you don't want to just let them go because you have a lot invested in them. Those trees are actually pretty expensive, so no sense in doing all that work and getting them planted and then just leaving them and hoping, you know, it works out. I want to help them out as much as I can. So a lot of work done, and now it's on to the next thing.